Oh, hi! We're releasing this video a little bit earlier than normal because the press embargo on the ROG Xbox Ally goes up at 9 a.m. today. I've had this thing for a week now. I got this review unit in New York City last Wednesday in my swanky big city adventure with Stubbs and Rob and Andrew and the Fox and Bob Wolf and Scatterbrain and Baldy Rudy and Bob's producer, Gary, but he's not really Gary, he's Bob's Gary. Who else am I forgetting? I don't remember. Anyway, I've had it for a week, and I've really been trying to get a handle on it. And speaking of handles, I'm going to be brutally honest here. I thought they were just trying to slap some Xbox handles and some Xbox branding on an old ROG Ally, and like from the moment it was announced when I was on summer vacation, up until the moment I went into the press briefing, I thought it was going to be a dumb gimmick. Then I picked the thing up, and I changed my mind. And this isn't a shill thing. This isn't a sponsored video. ASUS isn't seeing a draft of this. This is just me legitimately telling you this thing feels amazing once you hold it. Let me explain this shift by focusing on a few key areas. You have price, for this model in particular. You have ergonomics. You have the de-Windows-ification of a Windows handheld. And of course, creating a console-like experience. So sit tight, strap right in, and find out how I went from thinking this was going to be kind of a stupid gimmick to thinking that this is maybe the best entry-level x86 device out there for a brand new user. While you watch this footage of me aggressively unboxing, let's give out some stats. So the Xbox Ally handhelds come in a more budget model here with the ROG Xbox Ally and the more premium ROG Xbox Ally X. Stubbs is getting the Xbox Ally X, and he'll have content out soon. But here are the differences. The Xbox Ally X comes in at $999.99. It has an AMD Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor, 24 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, an 80 watt-hour battery, some enhanced I/O with USB Type-4 support, and Xbox-style impulse triggers. The unit I'm unboxing now is $599, has the AMD Ryzen Z2A processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM. It comes with 512 gigabytes of onboard storage. It only has a 60 watt-hour battery. It has USB Type-3 and your more standard Hall triggers. The 60 watt battery is kind of a compromise decision, but I think they did it to keep the price down, and it's still better than the Steam Deck and a hair better than the Legion Go S. Otherwise, they both have that same beautiful 7-inch 1080p IPS screen with 120 Hz refresh rate and with VRR. They're both the same size, but the Ally X is heavier, 715 grams compared to 670. And they both come with a 65 watt charging brick, which is nice. Let's do some real quick comparisons. First off is the ROG Ally X. They're essentially the same size, same configuration. One big difference is the addition of this Xbox button here, which acts like your Steam button, which brings up your overlay. And of course, these butt grips. Otherwise, it's exactly the same size, and it looks different. The screen on this one looks smaller, but it's the same size. It's an optical illusion because right here, they cut this off and they added these grips. We're going to talk about those later. And then to compare it with the Legion Go S model, you see this Legion Go is a much chunkier boy. It has decent ergonomics because it has these butt grips, but it doesn't have handles. Obviously, the Legion Go here has a bigger screen. Everything's kind of more spaced out a little bit. But I got to tell you, the ergonomics on this thing are just unparalleled. We're going to focus on this lower end model here, obviously, because it's what I have. And I'm honestly glad I got this one because I think it's the better value proposition. The more expensive one has better specs, but are they $400 better? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if they are. I really like the $600 price point for something like this, especially if you factor in eventual sales, Black Friday's coming up, maybe coupons, whatever you can use to drop the price a little more. I don't know. You got Best Buy rewards points, something like that. I would have liked to seen it a little bit cheaper, but with tariffs and other economic things behind the scenes, like Microsoft inexplicably rising Gamepass pricing, I kind of understand it. And oh, by the way, speaking of Gamepass, you're going to get a month or so free when you buy the lower end model here, so that'll save you a couple bucks. Even at that $600 price point though, I still have to think this will sell well, if only for the Xbox branding. With this thing on shelves at like Best Buy, I think casual consumers are going to take notice. It's a big, sleek-looking machine. It's got Xbox logos all over the box. It's got Xbox logos on the device itself. I think a lot of people are going to see it and buy it thinking it's maybe a handheld Xbox. And in a lot of ways, it kind of is. Like I said in the intro, I was not sold on the idea of just slapping on a new shell with new handles, but holy crap, it makes such a difference. The weight distribution on this thing is impeccable. It feels so much lighter than it is just because everything is balanced across your hands and onto the grips. They are super comfortable, they're super easy to hold, they're super easy to grip, and you're not going to drop this thing. It's balanced. It feels amazing. And if you don't believe me, go to a Best Buy and pick up the display unit. It's amazing. And I can only imagine it's because of the ROG Xbox partnership. They had to have brought in the Xbox controller team at some point, just, absolute experts in their craft. And that crew was able to translate the feel and craftsmanship of a console controller into a handheld. It's really something, and there are no compromises on the ergonomics. ROG were the ones who finally said, look, it's a 7-inch screen. It's big. Only an absolute lunatic is going to try to pocket this. So why not go all out on ergonomics and comfort? And I cannot applaud that decision enough. Couple the ergonomics, the solid buttons, the solid D-pad, these wonderful Hall sticks, plus this beautiful screen. It is an OLED, but it's the same guy that was in the Ally X last year, and it's honestly one of my favorite non-OLED panels. It's got a super high refresh rate, VRR. It's really just crisp and vibrant, and an excellent compromise to keep the price from going even higher. This whole package, it really feels corpo, and not only like x86 device corpo, it feels like an Xbox device. The Xbox-ification, that's a new word, I just invented it, trademarked. The Xbox-ification of this device continues with the full screen experience. When you turn this thing on, you boot right into Xbox mode, and it feels like a handheld console. Very similar to the vibe you get on the SteamOS version of the Legion Go S here. It's very cool, and it's a step toward a more unified and a more console-esque experience, especially for more casual consumers buying this just because they see an Xbox logo on the box. This isn't just a big picture mode either. Microsoft legitimately worked to make a gaming mode that kills notifications, it kills unnecessary programs, and it really just de-bloats and de-windows Windows. It's great. Now, it's not as seamless as the SteamOS handheld yet, but just in the few days I've had this, we've seen updates that incrementally make the whole experience better. I especially like the Xbox button here. It gives you this quick pop-up where you can get into all your Armory Crate settings. You can turn on your monitor. You can set it to chill mode. You can go into a bunch of other stuff. And this pop-up here on the left-hand side of the screen, it's very similar to the quick settings you'd see on the right-hand side of the screen in a SteamOS product. You get your metrics, you get your settings, you get the ability to hop in and out of full screen mode, all sorts of stuff. It's pretty cool. However, this is a Windows device though, so you can't escape at least the initial Windows setup. You need to log in with your Microsoft account, set your Wi-Fi, your time zones, your keyboard format, all the normal Windows stuff. And then for me, I had to do a bunch of updates. ASUS and Microsoft are saying this won't be the case with retail devices, and I don't have any reason to doubt them. But the difference between the first few boots and the final updated versions were stark, right? I think if new users, especially casual new users, encounter anything before this current Xbox experience build, they might bounce off. So we're just going to have to wait until those first retail units come out to see if they've actually set it up to work just like this. And I'm pretty sure they will. Besides this significant Xbox overlay you have on Windows, the ROG Xbox Allies also have some significant Xbox integration. You can open up Gamepass on here and pick up where you left off on another device. If it's a Gamepass game that can be played locally on the device itself, then all your saves are going to sync up with your cloud game version, or even the same game that you have on your Xbox console. They're really taking a lot of steps to unify the experience, to make it steamy, and I like that. And it's not just Xbox Game Pass either. The full screen experience UI also incorporates games from GOG, Epic, or Steam here. You can see I have Hades 2 from Steam. It just loads them all through the front end. See? Here you go. You got Hades 2 running through Steam, and you got your little Steam interface in the corner. It's not 100% seamless, but it works, which is great. It's kind of like if Armory Crate got a massive update from the folks who do the Xbox UI, and that's kind of what happened, and it's kind of cool. It's actually very cool. Microsoft is also promising compatibility ratings for games, and they'll let you know if it's something that'll run great out of the box, if you need to fiddle fart with settings, or if it's probably not going to work. This doesn't work right now because the crowdsourcing can't work until it actually gets released. But if it works like they say it will, that's pretty cool for casual gamers. Also, in the presentation we attended, we were told that games will be automatically configured to run as well as they can, just automatically through this interface. This particular model has a 1080p screen, but games are going to be pushed out at 720p by default to get an optimized experience. You can go in and change your resolution, but that's pretty cool for new users who really just want to turn this on and play some games. Again, this is all dependent on these retail models being loaded with this specific version of Xbox experience. They assure us they will, and I got no reason to doubt them, but the setup for me was something that a more casual person might get frustrated with. Once it's running, though, it is worlds ahead of the experience you got on, say, the 2024 ROG Ally out of the box, even with Armory Crate. Performance-wise, this model here is roughly equivalent to the Steam Deck. So anything you can play on the Steam Deck, you can play here. Actually, with all the tweaks and general enhancements you have behind the scenes, you're probably going to get a hair better performance. But if you're looking for crazy gains, then you'll probably want to go for the higher priced model. Now, it's not all unicorn farts and rainbows. There are a couple issues I've had so far. First is the price. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but I really would have liked to seen this closer to $500. Maybe we'll get there with sales, or if the economy improves, or if tariffs chill out. But that extra $100 is a pain point, especially since the Steam Deck has gone on super sale lately. The battery on here is a little small too. I think it's because I got used to the 80-watt battery on my Ally X, so going to 60 is a little bit of a downgrade, but I imagine they did it for price reasons. And it's not awful. Like, don't get me wrong, the Xbox experience automatically killing background stuff makes the battery last way longer than you would get on your old interface. Seriously, I played Spider-Man Remake for an hour and a half, and I only lost like 30% battery. That's pretty impressive for an x86 device. And by the way, this is still a much bigger battery than you get on the original Steam Deck. This is literally where I was standing a couple days ago. Hey!
I better be more careful with my adoring public.
Anyway, me and Stubbs and Andrew and Rob were standing here a couple days ago. Another issue is that the Xbox experience is good, but it's not great. At least not yet. It's a great start as far as Windows goes, but it's not up there with SteamOS yet. Certain things work with a little bit of tinkering, like when you have to run an Ubisoft game locally through the Xbox Gamepass, but other stuff, like games you install through Xbox from EA, need a lot of extra messing around, and I got a lot of errors with Madden that required getting out a mouse and keyboard to mess with. It would be really nice if the stuff that's already integrated with Xbox would actually work seamlessly. I get that there are different front ends, and sometimes you even have that problem with SteamOS, but it really breaks the immersion. Speaking of SteamOS, I have my Legion Go S here with SteamOS. I just turned a mini PC into a Steambox console, so maybe I'm just more used to SteamOS. But like I said, this Xbox interface is good, but it's not great yet. Don't get me wrong, it's better than what we had before, definitely. And it's actually gotten better in just a couple days of testing with updates. And if ROG and Microsoft continue to make little tweaks and enhancements, then it might become comparable to SteamOS sooner rather than later. And I'm glad they didn't just go with SteamOS, by the way. In New York, I spoke with a senior ROG guy, and he openly said they could have just done that. I mean, these have AMD processors. The implementation would have been easy, but they wanted to leverage their connection with Microsoft. And even if this isn't a one-to-one competitor with SteamOS right now, I like competition. Remember the console wars? Nintendo was getting pretty stale until Sega lit a fire under their ass, and then we got some of the best hardware and software of the 16 and then 32-bit era. And it was because of competition. Competition drives innovation. And I'm here for it. Well, Gary, the clock on the wall says it's time for What Did We Learn? And we learned that the ROG Xbox Ally is a very interesting entry-level x86 device that sticks with Windows for more overall compatibility, but then it fixes a lot of the Windows in a handheld issues we've seen over the last few years of this hobby. By creating a full-screen experience in a console-esque fashion with a unified UI and automatically killing background Windows processes, we have a true Xbox-ish experience on a handheld PC. And this is just the start. I think we're going to continue to see enhancements and improvements. It's not 100%. We're not perfect yet, but it really is a great start. It's also a hair too expensive, in my opinion, especially in light of the Steam Deck being so cheap lately. The comparable 512 megabyte LCD Steam Deck is essentially half the price of this, so it's hard to say it's the best bang for your buck. That being said, a lot of casual console gamers don't really know what Steam is. Some might, but a lot of people just play Xbox or PlayStation, and when they see this thing on a shelf at the mall, they're going to see the Xbox logo and they're going to want to grab it. I could be wrong. God knows I'm wrong all the time. But I really think the Xbox integration on this thing is going to open up the handheld PC market exponentially. Case in point, I had this thing in a security bin when I was leaving New York, and a TSA agent came over, asked me what it was, and then she flat out said she wanted to get one for her son for Christmas. I asked why, and she said because he's always playing Xbox, and he's using up her TV. She would like to actually use her TV at some point. It's a completely random anecdotal person, but I honestly think it's foretelling a major success for ROG and Microsoft. If you thought this video was a major success, then please like and subscribe and all that jazz. We're headed into the busy season with a ton of new releases on the way and plenty of surprises sure to pop up. I'm going to end up with like 4 DS clones in the next week and a half, I guarantee it. By the way, stay tuned to the channel for Stubbs' review on the more powerful variant of this guy. And of course, we'll have detailed written reviews on the website as well. I didn't really go crazy into game testing because of the compressed time window before this thing launches. But let me know if you want to see a game showcase video. We can see what this sucker can do. Maybe we can do a comparison video between this and the Legion Go S with the same games. Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.